This is going to be a review for episode 311 of Naruto Shippuden, which this one is called a Prologue of Road to Ninja, which has to do with the movie of Road to Ninja. So for those of you that haven't seen it or never heard of it, I highly suggest watching, especially if you're like me, waited for over a year just for it to finally come out in America or for us to be able to watch it. I would highly suggest going and watching that. Now, in this episode, it is very, very connected to that movie, and I will start off by saying that generally this episode, there was a lot of simple things that they did a lot better compared to the last couple of episodes. Now, there were a couple of things that were, I guess you could say, didn't quite make as much sense and kind of led to a dead end or something, but those were very minor things, especially compared to the last episode or two. So they definitely did a lot better, and for what it is, I will say they definitely improved a lot, and the animation, audio, and all that kind of stuff was just a lot better, because on the last episode, because it took place in, I guess you could say, Naruto's life when he was very young, the actor, which by the way, I do know that it's a female now, I wasn't too sure before, that's why I said he, so then that way someone will correct me, and thank you, man, for correcting me, and pretty much, they messed up a lot. They messed up a lot transitioning from his younger voice to his older voice, his newer voice, and that was I can understand, but it was a very simple mistake that I guess you could say would annoy a lot of people, and there were some other small things that they definitely messed up that I guess you could say are kind of big and things that should not be a problem. But on this episode, I will say they definitely did a good job as far as that kind of stuff goes, and they definitely did do a good job of connecting things to the movie, such as there was a part where Sakura was arguing with her mother, which probably has to do with the movie, in the part where she was wishing she didn't have to deal with her parents and just hated dealing with them. And there was a couple of things that I guess you could say kind of threw me off a little bit, which I will admit they definitely did a good job on this episode as far as adding things into it to make it more interesting, because by all means this episode doesn't have anything big that's really worth watching. It is filler, but it doesn't really have anything big that you even learn or anything like that. But they definitely did add a few elements into it that made it much more interesting and entertaining and funny and just overall better worth watching. And there was this one part that was very, very funny, which was when Naruto and all of them were in the, I can't remember what it's called, spa house, bath house, something like that, and I don't know why he was looking there, but he noticed Shino had a bug around his part, and he freaked out so much, like, oh, you got a bug around there, and he was talking about how he has the bugs clean him, and it was very funny, but random, and yet awkward, and it was just picturing that kind of freaks me out a little bit, but just generally that was a little bit funny part they actually added into it. And I really like the fact that they actually put the exact same part where Rock Lee got accused of peeking on the women, just like he did in the actual movie, which was, I guess you could say, was in another alternate version of the universe or something. But the same thing happened in both universes, and because, for those of you that watched the movie, you know what actually happened, or what was the truth on the movie, then you know what to expect on this part. So, I gotta say, I really like that, but the outcome what was very interesting, which, let's just say, involved Naruto getting accused of something, which was just very, very funny, but the way it ended kind of made me think, like, hold on, you wouldn't expect Sakura to be so nice to Naruto afterwards, because afterwards is probably I guess you could say, when it transitioned to the movie, you know what I mean? Because that's one thing that kind of threw me off, is that by seeing the end of the episode of Naruto Shippuden 311, it made me think, okay, when he did that jutsu, which kind of switched alternate universes, or kind of made his own wish come true so then he wouldn't want to come back to the real world that he was in, sorry for any spoilers, did he repeat it? Did he go back in time or something like that? Because it looks like he did the jutsu after the stuff happened that happened in the movie. So, I mean, it's one of those kind of things that's kind of confusing, but I will say that at least, for the most part, that little element kind of made it more humorous, the one with a Sakura part, and I kind of wish that they would kind of make more sense, but, you would probably think that maybe it was just actually one of those things that was actually happening before, but it actually wasn't, because let's just say it showed something that he saw, and it was actually after the stuff that kind of happened in the movie, so it's still kind of confusing, which at least we do officially know that this does take place before the village was attacked. There was a couple of hints, of course, the obvious and stuff like that, but the big hint was because the Akatsuki were still alive, which in the alternate universe they were, but in the alternate universe they were, I'm not trying to spoil anything, let's just say they were different, so there was no reason for them to be dead, which therefore would really make you think, okay, so you know, they would be dead in this universe, which now that we see that they're alive in this universe, I guess you could say now we know that they actually were, this actually takes place before the Akatsuki got killed and everything. So that was one thing they did good. Now I gotta say my favorite part of the episode was a scene that involved Hinata. So if you're a big fan of Hinata, or if you like her for any reasons at all, then I gotta say there's going to be a part in it that you're gonna absolutely love. You might giggle a little bit or laugh about it, but you're gonna enjoy it just like I did, and that was just my favorite part. And one of my friends, he's not as big of a Hinata fan, but even he thought that was his favorite part of the episode. Now I'm going to give this episode a 4 out of 5 rating, which is actually pretty high considering it is a filler, and even though this wasn't a filler where you learned anything, it didn't get anything unveiled, there's no epic scenes, nothing crazy happened, but for what it is, they did a great job. They did a lot better on some of the simple things that they kind of messed up on the previous episodes, and they put a lot of things into the episode that made it more entertaining, funny, more enjoyable, pleasing, and just better, much more worth watching, and it just left a bigger smile on your face at the end of the day. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed that Hinata scene, or if you've seen the movie already of Road to Ninja, and for those of you that are hoping that the filler stops soon, and I gotta say I hope they do end soon, and because there was no manga chapter this week, it looks like the anime is going to be catching up closer to the manga even more, and the reason they do fillers is so then the anime doesn't catch up to the manga, and because it's catching up even more now, I hope that doesn't mean they're going to have to make more fillers. So again, I hope they end soon, but I guess we'll just have to see. So thanks again for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next video.